Lilla, skal du spille? Hæ? Okay.
You do not know what you're up for here, Swiss.
This is intense.
Kom igjen. Do you hear the music?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear the music.
Ok, da skal jeg starte den. Da må du spille. Fortsett å spille. Kom igjen.
Jeg gjør det.
Welcome to another unauthorized and rum-fueled treasure hunt in the sharky waters around the Gatsby Islands with Queen Ray, Mirjam Albach, our conference buddy, and me, your host, Captain Olavia.
Er det mulig å spille?
Remember to smash that like button, friends. And today's guest is the great and powerful pirate Swizec Teller. And he's made this book here, which I don't know if we're going to mention it today, but I love it.
Yay.
Okay.
Jeg vet hvor det er.
Yes. I'm gonna mute you two if you keep on talk there. He muted himself. Thank you for the introductions. So on today's show, we are gonna get some help from Swiss talking about auth providers and maybe like data store providers for Mirjam's Conference Buddy 2.0 that we started on last week. But before we get into that, Mirjam is just going to show us her homework. And her homework was to source conferences from Markdown as single pages and also as a list. So I'm going to share add you to the screen. Are you okay with me adding?
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, very nice.
It's so weird because you are on this side of my desk and I want to look at you all, but I have to look at my stuff. Okay, is it big enough? Should I make something bigger? You have to tell me.
You can make both the code and the page a little bit bigger.
Oh no, my sound is gone. I can't hear you. Is it my internet? No.
Bigger.
We can hear you.
I can hear Swiss.
That's good. I will just start. I will just show you what I did. So this is kind of the start page, which basically is just for me trying out if my variables in SCSS are working. And this, I will start with a not so fancy thing. This is a conference page. And as you see, it ain't much because this was, I built a template, this one to try to bring in one conference. But I thought I want to focus on the conference list first because it was the first feature I wanted to build. And this is a different component, and the conference list looks like this. And as you can see, I spent a bit of time in like layouting.
Wow.
And what I'm a bit proud of, I have to brag for a second, is I've tried to follow like Bootstrap, or not Bootstrap, but just a mobile first approach. So this whole thing is optimized for mobile phones. So this is how it looks on a small device. And then, it just has one breakpoint for medium. Oh, how can I? No, sorry. And this is how it looks on everything bigger than basically an iPad for now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the conference page. And actually, nothing happens here until now. So this should be linked to the single page. This should be a link to tags where you can like filter for conference with a specific tag. And this should be for users that are logged in, kind of a button to add themselves as a conference buddy or as a lurker to a conference. But currently it's just not doing anything other than looking kind of cute, I think, I hope.
Amazing.
That's my homework. And Benedicte already mentioned that that my solution to do that is probably something we could refactor, because I followed different documentation of Gatsby. So just the one I found in the internet. And the one I found for the conference pages was this one, which was pretty easy to do. And then I looked around for how can I create a list of more than one file. And I found another example. I think it was for blog posts. Oh, that's the entry. I'm sorry. Where's my component? Here. And here I'm using a static query, which is something different. And I already noticed this is different, but I thought maybe you have to do it like that. I just did it. It's my first iteration. And I already know we can improve that. And I'm hoping on Benedicta to tell me how to do that. And also I would really like to move this data out of my view because I think these two things don't belong in one file. It should be a bit separated also to make testing a bit easier later. That's me.
Oh, now I can't hear Ray either.
Well, that's because I muted myself. So
Oh, okay.
we are pro on this show. So Mirjam, can you hear us?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can hear. Okay, you can hear us now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Can you turn up the size a little bit more on your
Sure.
code and also on your thing? Yeah, so I don't know, because Swiss also has a lot of Gatsby experience. I like that for all my pages, I like to put the queries in a page query, as they're called, which is exported from the page the same way as you've done for the conference page. So if you copy all of that and create that as an export,
That's fun.
and I think they can call, I think you've already done it.
Oh.
If you do it like that,
Yes,
also for the conference list, like then it will be easier for you to test,
just copy and
like
paste
you
it.
said. Yeah, if you copy and paste that at the bottom, and then you take that code and export it in the same way as you did for the conference pages.
Although, is conference list a page or is it a component that you might want to use elsewhere?
At the moment, it's a page.
List is a page. So these entries are single components. Yeah, but this is just a page wrapper.
Yeah, because that's I think you were alluding to. So if you want to make a sidebar that always has a list of the conferences, that would probably be a component, and then you could use that static query.
Exactly.
But for the pages, I at least like to have a page that all pages has a page query just to make it like similar.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and you've already gotten a gold star on Twitter for completing your homework.
Yeah.
So I don't have a gold star. We spoke about that last week. And I'm sure you have some tests. Do you want to show us your tests? Because Mirjam is a test extraordinaire.
Yeah, but I have to add, since it's just like work in progress, I did not add too much tests because they're probably brittle, but I added I also moved my layout component that I'm using on the Conference Buddy website that I currently have. It's a one-pager, and that's also based on Gatsby, but I think it's the first version. And I just copy and pasted my whole layout component here. I also use that. I think that needs optimization. But yeah, this is where this whole thing is coming from. And this has some small components like a header, which you can see here, which basically does nothing currently, but it has tests because you can add tests, and I'm testing things like, it shows a header, like a role banner, which means this is like semantically the header of the page. And also then I did snapshot testing, which I didn't do for a long time, but in this case, things make sense because this is a DOM structure that probably will not change a lot. And this is my header. Then I have footer here, which also is not a lot to test. But here I added also is it like a semantic footer, like a content information, if there are a link with an accessible name, and then also a snapshot test.
I mean, you say it's work in progress. I'm so impressed that you have tests already. I'm so inspired. Now my plugin, my Snow plugin has tests because I was like, I cannot, I am inspired. And I did find the bug. So thank you very much, because I had managed to suddenly, what had I done? Yeah, the snow never ended. So we had the duration setting, and then I kind of just like blew the duration setting. So I was very happy that or no, it was the season. Sorry, it was the season. We've added a season option so that you can say when you want the snow to end for the Gatsby Snow plugin. So now you can say like December 1st to January 4th. And I just skipped that. So
you don't have to install and uninstall the plugin.
Exactly. So you can just keep the Snow plugin forever, and we will strip out the year and just take that season and put snow on your site every year. So I am looking forward to you adding some snow, Swiss, because you need some snow on your site.
That's nice.
But I have a white background.
Well, we have color options.
Ooh.
I want nice.
Can I have pink snow?
You can have pink, like pink is actually really good, looks really good, like a floral pink or whatever it's called. It's pretty good. And then also, I think yesterday somebody was asking, okay, what if can I pass in a CSS variable instead, because or say that you're going to access a CSS variable because he wanted different snow on the dark themed version and the light themed version. So smash that out. So that is now possible. So you can, instead of giving an actual color, you can just give me the plugin the name of the CSS variable. And I got tests for a lot of it, not everything, because it's hard to I'm not that good yet at testing like animation frames and stuff like that. That's a little overboard, but at least there are tests for the options now. So yeah. So yes, Swiss, you can have pink snow.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do that then.
You have to do that. It's gonna come out in official version 1 this weekend. That it works. Yeah, the README is just so that, and then you can add snow too, Mirjam. Anyway, back to that was a little ad break there for me. Let it snow on your site this season. But there are links to the repo for Mirjam's site in the description. I think maybe it's wrong right now, but I'm going to fix that after the stream. So if you want to go and have a look or discuss with Mirjam or give her pointers or anything like that, you can head on over there. And there's also a discussion tab. So I guess now we can go over to question. Yes.
About my query, because I decided to use TypeScript, even if I'm not the biggest TypeScript fan, but I think it makes sense for a lot of reasons. And I'm still struggling a bit with typing. So I added a type for my conference, which I was pretty proud of. I'm like, oh my God, I'm officially adding an interface. It sounds like such a big thing for a small project. But now, of course, how do I now use my data for my page query rightly typed? Because before it was all stored in the variable data in this all markdown remark, which now of course is not working. But how do I connect these two things now? You know what I mean? Because here it's just put in like this, like a property.
Wouldn't that be correct? And then for the conference list, you would do data, and then you would do your kind of conference interface. You will say, oh, the data is going to be all markdown remark is going to be a list of type conference list entry or something, or conference interface.
Yeah, now my sound was stuck again. So I would do. I mean, I can figure it out on my own.
Yeah. So, I think you get it as is it the data prop? I always forget that.
It's the data. It's data, and then it would be, and then the data. How do you? I am not that good at TypeScript, but then you say that the data is going to be an object, and the object is going to contain.
You say, you get you write data like you are now destructuring, and then on the other side of the parenthesis of the curly brace, you do colon, and then you define the type of the object that you're destructuring. So you would have that, and then data colon conference.
would it be
It'd
like
be-
that? Oh my god.
but it would
Yeah,
be
but it would
data column.
probably, and then it would be data.
Yeah.
And then that would be an object with a key, all markdown remark, because
Yeah.
the query you have
true.
now is not correct. And then
Yes.
on all
Mhm.
markdown remark, that would be then your conference list.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Oh my god.
And that's where use
Uh,
static query is easier because you put all of this in the component.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Okay.
could probably,
Although I'm sure there's a plugin somewhere that can translate GraphQL queries directly to TypeScript types for you.
Probably, yeah. I just have to like look for it.
Yeah. And because Gatsby already infers the types for the GraphQL query, so they should also be able to infer the TypeScript. But I don't know if they do. But anyway, your TypeScript, your query is wrong in the conference list, Mirjam, because that should be the content in there should be the one that you all markdown remark.
Oh,
yeah.
And should it
now
look?
It should be correct.
Okay, so all markdown remark, and then it's here. So probably my.
Now it should be correct, shouldn't it? It should be the same as you had in the static query, but just put it as a page query. But I always mess up. There's always like a little.
Wouldn't it also
Yeah,
be
there's a bit.
when you're iterating? I think where you're iterating in the component, it would be data dot all markdown remark dot map.
Yes.
Not dot front matter.
Okay. Yeah, because here I'm. So it does not have a node anymore.
No.
Okay.
But
let's see.
All remark. All markdown remark
with a
node. It would be data all markdown remark dot nodes probably, wouldn't it?
Or is it dot edges? I always forget that part.
That depends on what you're querying for.
I'm so happy. I'm not the only one. Okay.
You know, Mirjam, I'm gonna show you a trick, and then we'll get into the auths.
Yes, that's good.
If I can. If you go to localhost,
my sound is already
localhost 8000 and then __ GraphQL.
True. Oh, that's the wrong window.
Because I cannot still not write GraphQL just straight up. I don't know. Are you there, Swiss? Can you just like write GraphQL queries like straight?
When I'm lucky.
Oh no.
Is it 3 underscores or is it 1 underscore?
I think it's 3.
2. Oh, and then there's a dash or slash. Yeah.
A slash?
Oh yeah.
But there's a slash. There's localhost 8000 / and then GraphQL.
You see, I had it open today. It's the first time. I was like, oh my god, what is this? Okay.
Okay, so if you just do if you do the little arrow, all markdown remark, and then you do nodes.
Where's nodes? Yes.
And then you choose the things that you want. So that was HTML and then the front matter.
Yeah. I think I don't even need HTML. I mean, not for the conference.
But if you just do this for the trick, just choose anything. And then you can press play if you want to, just to see that it works.
Oh my god, that's genius.
Yeah, and then look above the result. There's a button called Code Exporter.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is that new? I've never seen that button before.
And there's your page query.
It's a little new. Yeah.
That is so cool.
That's so cool.
I mean, there's my blog post for tomorrow about this stream right there.
Yeah. Oh my god. That's so cool. And also, maybe I can add a section about how you should not work on things, because I should probably just take time and read documentation, because I get impatient And I'm like, oh my God, I want to finish this thing like in this 2 hours I have. And then I just skim over stuff, copy and paste examples. And of course, that's not the way you should do it, right?
It's actually a way better way to do it. Because if
I
you just
think
read the
I'm not-
documentation, you don't remember any of it. But if you're playing
Yeah.
around, you learn.
Yeah, okay. I'm
I
happy
think-
to hear that.
I think in the book, the Badass book, which is all about learning, she says something about you should
wow.
you should work on it until it breaks. So you should work on it as much as you can until you can't get any further, and then you look it up, because that's when you
Mhm.
kind of hit your limit, and that's when
Yeah.
the knowledge sticks
Yeah.
instead of instead of just reading the docs. But now then you have to like fix your data and your TypeScript. So I don't think we're gonna look at that. But now at least the page
Yeah,
query
sure.
should be correct. And
Yeah.
if you want to play around with it a little bit while we talk,
Can I say one thing? Can I say one
Yes.
thing that I do? Because I've been playing around with this kind of stuff a lot. Not TypeScript though, but yeah. And I actually went in and I looked at your code and I tried to replicate it in ordinary JavaScript. And that's what I do. I do almost the same thing again and again and again. And then sometimes I'm like, wow, so that's what's going on here.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
That's also good. Yeah. Yeah. You definitely
John-
should put like a link to the book in your next newsletter. Lex's learning book. That sounds interesting.
Yes. Yeah, that is it's super cool. Ola, John's voice. Can you see the
It's so easy. It feels like cheating graphical.
That's true.
That is.
So if you want to clean up and your data thing, we can start the discussion, because now I guess we can't see your beautiful page that we were gonna add authenticated stuff.
Yeah, I will
to.
just
I'm gonna
just throw it away and do that later.
I'm just gonna remove the screen a little bit. Yeah, because
Can I-
today's
Can I
topic,
look
I
at
guess,
you now again? Yes.
yes,
Hello.
was homework done. Very good. We've learned something new. Graphical's code exporter in Gatsby. Great stuff. And then we're going to discuss how are we going to add authentication to this page? What kind of auth provider do we want to choose? What do we need to think about when choosing an auth provider? And also in your case, you are going to need a tiny bit of a database or data store, because we talked about that last week. You want, maybe to begin with, you want people to be able to lurk or become a conference buddy for a conference. And then down the line, or further off, you want to maybe have comments and chat and stuff like that. So that's pretty major database stuff. But for the kind of, you want to lurk and sign up to be a buddy at conferences, that's kind of a little bit of data. So we need to keep that in mind as well. So I'm gonna just like throw it out there. What would you recommend, Swiss?
Please solve it for us now.
Okay, what should we think about when choosing a auth provider? Is that a better question?
That's what I was going to ask next. So I would start with, where are you going to be hosting this? Are you planning to host it on your own? Is it going to be on Gatsby Cloud, on Netlify, on Vercel, or what is the plan there? Because that then depends.
Yeah, so I have not decided yet. So I used Netlify before, so I'm a bit used to it, but I did not do a lot of magic. I mean, the complicated thing I did was adding a CI pipeline for a site that has 2 tests, but still, I wanted to have that. And I would also like Gatsby Cloud would be an option, because it's probably pretty easy to integrate. I'm not self-hosting, so I would choose a provider that fits my needs best. So there's no decision made yet.
Really good idea not hosting yourself, because that is a shit show. But I think with Gatsby Cloud is a really good option. That's what I use for my blog as well. The downside of Gatsby Cloud is it doesn't have an authentication provider yet. I think they don't. Do you know, Ray?
No, they don't have any.
Okay, because they might eventually. So I would host on Gatsby Cloud, and I would use Auth0 for authentication, mostly because Auth0 is really easy to set up, and at least for my uses, I haven't found a reason to pay for it yet, because it's like free up to 7,000 accounts, and most of my side projects never get to 7,000 people actively using it.
What?
I know, right? How crazy is that?
I mean, they're so amazing. Why aren't there 7 people?
7,000.
That's
yeah,
pretty good
so,
though. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like them. I like them for that from that perspective. And then I'm super biased, but I've built a React hook that makes it easy to integrate with Auth0 called Use Auth, and it's also what I use for my courses and on my blog for authentication. So I know it works, at least there.
That's good.
But what do you do? What do you use to connect people to courses and stuff, like the data side of things?
So the data side of things, I don't actually need the data. So I'm kind of cheating there because I use Gumroad for selling. So I have something like a Gatsby function that runs when you make a purchase and creates an account for you on Auth0. So, and then I don't need any other data than that, because nice thing about Auth0 is they provide all of the administration for users and all of the data handling for when your users signed up, how many users you have, whether their accounts are active, and that sort of thing. So it's a little bit more than just an authentication provider. They also do user management for you, which makes that easier.
And do you feel,
yeah,
because one thing that I often have thought about when trying to choose stuff for side projects, because I did way back, I built a service on top of Parse that was bought by Facebook and then swiftly put to rest.
Yeah, Parse was a good idea.
Does that factor? Does that factor in when you look at stuff like authentication provider?
Yes.
Or yes?
Do
you feel like Auth0 is going to be around?
Well, they just got bought by Okta.
And yes.
So,
but the thing is that Okta is a serious authentication provider. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's a pro argument because they've announced that they're going to keep it alive and keep it going. They're just going to merge accounts eventually. I think they're still figuring that out. But really, you have to think about how long is your project going to live. And Parse was probably a really good idea for multiple years. It's just this is the internet and the web, and if you want your project to live for more than 5 years, you have to make very different choices than if you're building something for a year or two.
Yeah. So you're saying we will have to Mirjam will have to migrate at some point if she's gonna do this for 10 years.
Yeah, if you're gonna do this for 10 years, you're gonna have to migrate. It's like
20.
I used to use a lot of external hosting for images on my blog, and half my images are gone now because it turns out that providers come and go.
Yeah. So you have a kind of a star on. You like Auth0 because you've used it yourself and you find it easy to integrate with. I also know that they have like a profile. There's like a little like profile data piece, so you can actually add a little bit of data to a person. But it would be hard the other way around. For if you have a conference and you want to see how many lurkers there are, then you would have to loop through all the users
you can do that with Auth0.
Yeah. But if you were going to choose an or a little database with Auth0, what would you choose?
A little database. I think
little database, like a tiny, like a baby database.
Tiny little database, yeah.
Tiny little baby.
I would probably go with something that's easy to set up is probably Supabase. I'm not a big fan of Firebase just because Google has a really good track record of killing projects and creating a lot of things that don't survive for very long.
And they're gonna spy on the data no matter what they say.
Exactly.
It's Google.
Yeah. It's Google. Yeah. And I don't know if it's just me, but it really throws me off every time I read Firebase documentation. It feels like it was written in JavaScript from 10 years ago.
Mm.
And all of the code samples feel very like, why are you still using vars and callbacks and stuff like that? It just, it feels like an unloved project. So I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah. Also, I just don't want to use Google, to be honest.
Oh, perfect then. I mean, you can always put it on the blockchain.
My cam is off. Definitely.
Oh, we could always put it on the block. Yeah, you just have to.
Yeah.
You have to put your hand in front of your camera again to get it to.
Yeah,
focus.
I tried, but it doesn't want to focus on me anymore.
That's fine.
Okay,
It's
I'm the slide blob here. Let's try to turn it off again.
Oh boy. Yeah, there you're back.
No, it wants to focus on your.
It's just
bookcase. I guess
that's life.
So, I mean, we can hear you.
It doesn't
it's a
focus.
podcast.
Yeah,
it's a podcast.
Yeah,
it's a podcast.
It's a podcast.
Doesn't
So what
focus
we were talking
anywhere.
about
Is there something
Firebase
on the camera?
because it just happened when she moved. She moved to there.
So-
it focused. Now it's focused.
I actually
And now
tried
it's
to use Superbase, and it was very easy to set it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I would go with Superbase.
But then you would not go for their auth provider. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't know they had an auth provider.
Because
I
they
think
have an auth provider,
Okay.
which is very similar to auth zeros. It looks like, and it looks like they then have row. So they will do row. Is it called row authentication? Row.
Yeah.
Authorization. Row authentication. Yeah. So they have. It looks like it's heavily integrated with their data store or their
Okay.
Postgres database.
Oh, that's perfect then. Yeah, then probably best to use. If you're going with Superbase, I would go with their auth provider as well then, so that you have everything in one place and there's fewer things to hack around.
Yeah. Sounds reasonable.
And I think it
So
looks
many
like
things to think
there's
of.
so many things to think about. So what do we
There's
feel
so
like?
many
How do you feel about Superbase? Because I've just seen them on Twitter and like I love new things. I'm like, yay, Superbase or Superbase. Doom, 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 doom. We looked up the music video. Doom, the Superbase. But what's your kind of immediate reaction to your gut reaction? I guess because I'm.
Who are you?
Oh, Swiss. What's your gut reaction to Superbase?
I really like the idea. I haven't tried them myself, and again, if you're planning a very long-lived project, I might be worried about how long they're going to stick around because they're very new, but
And very aggressive.
very aggressive. They're super aggressive. They keep launching stuff, and it sounds like there's a really good team there, and I think their stuff is probably really good. So for a side project, I would try them out, and then I would just try them out and see how it goes and whether it's nice. I haven't heard anything bad about Superbase.
But I mean, Conference Buddy is supposed to go big at some point.
Yeah.
It could still go have like this go to the moon, like
The moon.
No,
Yeah.
it will not. No, I think that sounds good. Also, I like the idea that they do the database stuff because I don't have to take care of that. And and also I think they also have a messaging solution. Didn't
They
we talk
have a
about that last
real-time
week already? Or in that context?
Yeah, I don't know if they have a real-time solution where you can get
Benedict is back with me again.
Okay.
Is it my internet connection?
I don't know what's up today, but it's too bad. This is maybe we'll download this and cut it as a podcast. So the auth part of it. Yeah. So to anybody who are watching though, if you have any questions around auth providers or anything like that, let us know. So Superbase. So they have a real-time solution where you can subscribe to real-time updates from the client when a user is logged in, or I guess when the user is not logged in too, but but for logged in users especially. I haven't tested their auth provider thing yet, so it would be cool if somebody updated their use auth package to support more than
tried.
Auth0.
It does support more than Auth0.
I know, but not Supabase.
Not Supabase. I tried adding Firebase, and then everyone was like, when are you going to add a Firebase? When are you going to add Firebase? And then I added Firebase, and crickets. I was like, can somebody test this? I want to see if it actually works for people who are using Firebase. Nothing.
I mean, I can promise you would have one tester if you would add.
Nice.
At least one.
She's a very good tester, so
Yeah, I'll
I mean,
definitely try that. But
right.
we have a question in the chat room
yeah.
from
Yay.
Timor. I don't know how to
Mhm.
pronounce that. Yes.
I-
Any suggestion on Passport.js? And I looked up what that is. It's a middleware for Express. So it's a middleware for servers built in Express.js, which is a Node framework for building backends. And the reason we can't use that in this Gatsby project is because we don't have a backend. There's nothing
And we are
running on
not
the
building
server,
it.
and we don't
And
want
we
to
are
build it.
not.
Yes.
We know how to
So-
build it.
Yeah, so Passport is
Yeah.
really good if you're building a more traditional web app where you're building a server that you make a request to and you have sessions and you serve back HTML. We're trying to avoid all of that here, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Go more
We're going
Jamstacky, right?
We're going Jamstack.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So we can't use Passport.
I'm sorry. I now have Supabase, the song, in loop in my
Yeah,
head. So I'm
again?
like having a hard time concentrating. It's like doon 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 doon. Okay. So we're all for Supabase then. That is interesting.
Yeah.
Should we YOLO code? Are we up for
Yes.
that? I'm very tired today, but are we up for YOLO coding? You want to try?
I mean,
Yes,
what
YOLO
could
it.
possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Do you want to
that's
YOLO
right.
code or do you want me to YOLO code, Mirjam?
I mean, go YOLO code. I love watching other people code.
Yeah, me too.
How much time do you
You can
have?
still
Super. How long too? Ja, jobba.
I'm gonna have to go in like 20 minutes because we have
my
a big release at work, but
Ooh,
Groovy. Is it secret?
yes.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Oh,
actually know.
no.
I don't get to talk to the marketing department, so I have no idea what the plans are.
Yeah, yeah,
I just have to make it work.
yeah.
Well,
Oh,
let's see if
dear.
I can make this run. But let me see. There's a gets. There's a dev. But we could open up the, because I think I have. I mean, if we had the good preparers and decided on Supabase before the stream, we could.
An account.
Hey, we have
No, but I
authentic
actually
stream, we decide.
we have an authenticate. I actually have an account, so I'm gonna see if I can log into that without sharing my credentials, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah, it's a good idea.
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
I've
That's
leaked
really
so
good.
many credentials on streams.
yeah.
Oh me. I mean, I leaked my credit card, my company credit card.
Oh, nice.
So I feel like I kind of like took the cake there or whatever it's called, because
I don't know.
then I
I
had
once got my entire AWS account suspended because they found that I leaked.
Oh.
I leaked an
Oops.
access key, and one of their bots was like, "Oh, this access key is public," and they locked my whole account.
Oh,
Wow.
I mean, I'm so happy because it just makes me feel a little less stupid. But the good thing came out of my leak was that I had to go through all my subscriptions because I had to upgrade my credit card on all my subscriptions, my 10 years worth or whatever of company subscriptions. And we saved a lot of money. So it was
Nice.
it was a
Oh, that's good.
good one. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to move you off. So let's do a little digging into Supabase.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited.
How's your eyes?
Rough.
Rough.
yeah.
So we could all projects. So I have a timeship guest book. Let's do a new project
nice.
then. Rand's buddy. So here we are gonna. What's gonna be our strong password for this demo? Very strong password.
But can't you just let one password make passwords for you? I do that all the time.
Yeah, but I don't want to open one password on stream.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Good idea. Maybe very strong. Okay.
Yeah,
This
very
password.
Strong
Yeah,
password.
very
One.
very strong
Exclamation mark.
word. Very.
Just
Nice.
There we go.
for
Let's
real.
see. For real, a very strong password.
Yeah.
For real. But we can always go
Okay.
to the documentation because I think they have a React example, which is always interesting. Because that is close to Gatsby.
Also, what I realized the last week, how much things have changed in React. I mean, I'm working on a few apps or on different few apps in an enterprise environment the last 2 years. I did React before, and I'm just like, what the hell? What is this? I mean, I know hooks, I work with hooks, but in the beginning, like in the beta. So now it's like, what is this thing? What is happening in this framework? What? It's funny. So much to catch up on.
Yeah, things do move fast. So we created a project.
They do.
We don't need a database scheme yet because we want to do login, building the app. We need some keys, of course. And then here, set up a login component.
Ooh.
We'll use magic link. No, I
What?
hate magic links.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. Oh no!
It's like, we cannot use these people.
I mean, I'm sure they have username and password.
Yeah, they probably should. And I know they have these others. So let's look at a project. So here's our keys, because this is, I'll throw this away pretty soon. There's a JWT secret. There's all kinds of things here. So there's some people over here. Let's see if that gives us anything. So this would be our users. And I think oh, look at that. So we can do GitHub.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh, then we need to make a GitHub client. I have that as well, but I'm not going to show those keys on stream. But we could have done a GitHub. There's Apple. There's GitLab.
Twitter?
That's interesting. And then Twitter and Twitch.
Nice. Cool.
So that's
Yeah,
cool. So we could do all of those if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think GitHub and Twitter was what I had before as provider because I didn't want to care about login myself because I thought it will probably get a lot of people like already covered. I love that they have GitLab also because Twitter also. I'm not sure about Twitch.
And they talk about policies, but how do we set it up? Okay, so let's try this quick start. Copy.
Yep.
We need to
maybe start with the initialize a React app part.
Yes. Okay, not create React app, but we want maybe Superbase React. This is the package we need.
Yeah.
Install Superbase.
Yeah.
It's gonna take hours on stream.
Probably.
John asks for the leaked credit card.
Can you put it in the chat?
I mean, I did block it, but I still don't want to keep handing it on. But it looks like there's going to be more and more services like these that are full service. So I'm wondering what kind of the future for Auth. I guess a good thing about Auth 0 is that and Okta, which is their more kind of enterprise solution, I would say, is that, well, you'll have all your authentication there, and then you are free to kind of choose your data store more, I guess. Like you can do a lot more. You can stick with the Auth provider, and then you can change your data stuff a lot more. But for side projects, you're probably not going to need like very special data.
I think the main
I mean-
reason enterprises implement something like Okta is SSO support, single sign-on. So
Mm-hmm.
you as a
Yes.
user sign on, and then you can choose the different apps that you want to use. And in enterprise, that being able to support that as somebody who's selling to enterprises is super important.
Yeah. And that's also, so I guess that Okta does that for enterprise, but Auth0 also does that, where you can have one,
Yep.
where you can have one login, but for different applications.
Yeah. Yeah. And then for enterprise clients, what's also super important is that their admins can then revoke permissions without the end user having to participate.
Ah.
We also use Okta. We are using Okta at work since a few months because we are selling it in enterprise regions.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We are an enterprise project, so now it's implemented. And I also have to, for example, sign up to Slack once a week. Like we renew my sign-in with Okta. And if for example, I installed Okta when I was in Portugal, and when I came back to Germany, Okta was like, "Is this you? This is like a different
Yeah.
country. You have to sign in again." Yeah. So
That's cool.
it's probably really good. And we are a full remote company, and so it's really important to have
And
this
that's
kind
a
of
really good point for why you don't want to build your own auth, is you're definitely not going to add that feature.
Especially not for your side project. You're like, 5 people are using it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah.
So Superbase
I really like
wanted me to create a helper function or a helper file that's Superbase client. And then I thought, since we're not going to reuse this, I'm just going to copy paste these things straight into here. So that would be, where's our app? Here's our app. It's probably in the settings or something. API. Project APIs. I guess this is the URL then.
So this seems very
Superbase.
similar to how Firebase is set up.
Yeah. This is the public and non-public key. So they are not really secrets. These are just like, you don't want to throw them around, but they aren't like proper secrets.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting it in
JavaScript.
environment variables that are going to be shipped to the client, so anyone can go right-click, inspect, and see those.
Exactly. Okay, so then we can set up the login component. So let's just make an auth component like they say.
Is it Superbase.co or .com?
It was a .co, I think. I think I copied that from... Yeah, .co.
Okay.
And it's not Superbase, it's Super. That's why I get that song all the time. Superbase. Superbase. Okay, we were doing... Okay, I was going to do an auth component.
It's IO. Superbase IO.
Yeah, but not for the client URL, but for their...
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so that's the auth component. And yeah, I put it in lib, which I was going to put on source. So many folders. Okay, auth, so that's going to be one up. And then Superbase client. Should we just put this on the front page and see what happens? Should I have read more documentation? I don't know.
That's so good. That's how I do stuff. Like, I'm copy and pasting this. See what sticks.
Let's see. And then we'll just put it right here on the...
We should do more sessions like this. I love just watching somebody work on my side project. That's good.
How did you do that, Mirjam? I need to learn this trick. How do you get others to work on your side project?
I mean, it's my first time. I have no idea how I did that. No.
I think I offered to upgrade your site to Gatsby version 4 if you came on my stream. So that's how you do it.
See?
Maybe next time.
I think Benedict is just like streaming and like teaching stuff so much that I thought I would like kind of slide in there and be like, hey, I could give you something you could stream about because you love that. right?
But could not find the declaration file. Oh, it's the TypeScript. Well,
Yeah, maybe just
TypeScript.
do a
Just
TypeScript ignore.
I don't care. Well, it looks like it's building.
Yeah. I have a
It's
love-hate
gonna-
relationship with TypeScript nowadays.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh, I love TypeScript.
yeah, I did use quite some time to get used to it because I get so annoyed at compilers. So I'm the kind of person, if I use a navigation system in my car, I turn off the voice, because if somebody tells me the second time to take the next left turn, I'm like, I understood you the first time, shut up. And I'm so annoyed. And then I tried out Go as my first strong type language. It was so bad. This compiler, I was like trying to build something, and then the compiler is like, nope, this is a number, I expected a string. And I'm like, yeah, I just wanted to test something, okay? I just wanted to look at something. Yeah, so TypeScript is annoying me a lot, but we have a really big project, and without TypeScript, we would be 100% lost. It's just
Exactly.
there's no way we could handle that.
Yeah, there's so many fewer bugs I write with TypeScript, and like little typos and things like that just don't happen.
Definitely. It's really, that's really good.
I think my computer is gonna. Oh, there! It built. It built.
Yes.
Yay. Show it to us. Mm-hmm.
Oh, React is not
Almost.
defined. Oh, I haven't turned on the automatic. You can do that, or you haven't. You can do that with Gatsby now. You can say that React should be like automatically.
Oh,
Look at that.
Yes.
cool.
Your
Oh my
email.
God, is it true?
Okay, Queen at Ray.
Is this already
Quotes.
working? Did
Well,
you do my
we'll see.
homework?
Send the evil link.
Check your email for the login link.
Okay.
We'll see.
Do it on
I mean,
the screen then.
I'm doing that on the screen. Good tip. Good tip.
So is this a good time to read John's question thing?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
There's more and more non-password auth coming to most logins. I believe serverless has been pushing this.
Yeah, that might be the reason.
Yeah, probably.
I don't
I'm
know.
also not
I
sure.
really hate
Is
it.
there like, yeah, me too, but is there like a pro to it? Because I recently read an article about how two-factor authentication is like really bad for accessibility, in a sense of older people that are not like used to this kind of stuff, or people that have a bad cell phone connection and whatsoever. And I'm like, does Magic Link have some good sides that I just don't see? So for
Actually,
example, you don't need the password manager.
I would guess that we're actually moving away from magic links, not towards them. There was like a golden period of magic
hope
links
so.
for 4 or 5 years, a couple of years ago. But now I think Android and iOS both come with a built-in password manager. So if a website doesn't have username and password, you can't use Face ID to log in, and people just drop off. They're like, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah, that's a good reason. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I don't like Magic.
I got a link.
Yeah.
And it's one of those links with, you can see an auth token here at the end. So it's like it goes to Supabase, blah, blah, and then there's a token, and then we're redirected back to localhost 8000. But then we get an error for error description, confirmation plus token not found. So I think there's something more we need to make.
Yeah.
So I'd see here they have some kind of session thing.
Right, because you need to. I haven't seen this specifically, but usually you need to have a callback page that is what renders on the original URL that then has an effect or something that verifies the session and saves it in cookies or local storage.
Oh, I'm going to bump this so people can actually read. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking too, because that's usually what happens. But it looks like Supabase will like do some of that for us, since they're not.
Yeah.
They're doing some kind of magic. So we need probably we need some of this.
You need to put that in your layout.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay.
Oh, you have your whole SEO in here.
Everything. I just copy and pasted everything from the website.
That's great.
But
You can use that. You can create like if you create a SEO component, then you can
Mhm.
just like import that.
yeah, I saw that.
So let's make this into an explicit return.
Also, I mean, I don't need any SEO, right? Because the page is not even online right now. But I was like, I can put in content here. That feels like doing something. I do it.
Nice.
Of course. Why not?
Oh, you need to initialize Superbase.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Not copy paste it from just like okay. Session. Oh, all of these are just TypeScript errors now. We need use
go-
effect.
Yes. Use effect and use state.
Use state. And then let's just console log the session. This return is not working, is it?
It should. Do you have prettier?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm streaming, it just like ends up not wanting to yet. So right now it's not working.
Okay.
But if I remove all of that, let's see if prettier works, if it's just me.
I also had to do some config stuff yesterday, 2 days ago, to get it working, because normally I also run prettier on safe in both my IDE and my editor, and it didn't work. And there was some like ESLint prettier TSLint stuff that needed to be set up correctly. I'm not sure anymore.
Yeah,
I just
and I
thought
think
like
it's
setup and config stuff.
I think often often like my computer just like hates it when I stream, and then it ends up that prettier thing is just not working. What was it called? Superbase client?
Yeah.
Yeah, Superbase client. But why are you not completing for me?
Yeah, okay.
I think VS Code gave up on you.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Superbase.
I have another question for John then. Is it good time?
Yeah.
Would you not also need to build a user database in storage on Superbase to verify returned users, log in, log out, etc.?
Ooh, maybe.
I think that's usually part of the Auth Provider offering. I would guess it is.
Let's see what this session comes out as. The session comes out as null.
Null, and then there's an object. There you go.
Oh, there's an object there. Access token expires as. Oh, so we are logged in. We have a user.
Oh my God.
It's all working.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, look at that. Email queen at Ray Codes. I mean,
Nice.
booyah. That was 1 hour, folks. So let's just quit while we're at.
We're done. Yeah, definitely. Always end with a win, you know?
So
think
thank
that's
you for
good.
joining us. Swiss, it's always a pleasure to have somebody that appreciates a little bit of YOLO coding on stream.
Doesn't everyone love YOLO coding?
No.
Not on stream.
But should
Yeah,
we do a summary maybe? Summary.
Yeah, we could do a quick summary. I can then share my screen again because now I have your code. Because I think I have your original code. Yeah, so Mirjam had done her homework, which was to create a conference list. Look at that. And that the the data in here is just static, like dummy data, but the conferences are actually sourced from Markdown files. So that is already up and running. And what we wanted to discuss today is how are we going to log, or how is Mirjam going to log people in so that they can actually press these buttons and be like, yes, I want to lurk. Yes, I want to be a conference. Oh, I want to be that. I'm going to be a conference buddy. Look at that dog. That is so cute. Anyway, so we talked about how what kind of auth provider to choose. And we started out, or I started out asking like Swiz what he would use, and Auth0 came up. That's one of the big contenders. Then we started talking a little bit more about data, and we talked about maybe Supabase could be a good fit for the data side. And then I remember that Supabase also has authentication, and we decided to YOLO it a little bit and check it out. And we managed to log somebody in with a magic link and console log the person, because that's how far we got. And we also discussed a little bit about what to think about with providers. And one of the things that I was wondering is like, how should we think about them staying around or staying, like, are these companies going to stay? And lots of us had negative feelings towards Firebase, both because we know Google is going to spy on us and also because they have a tendency to quit on projects. Auth0 is a very solid contender, and Supabase, we're not really sure, but hopefully going to be around for a year or 2 or 3. And at that point, we usually will have to migrate anyway. So we are feeling good about this choice. Did I forget anything important?
No.
No? Okay, then
That
you
was
can...
perfect.
Thank you. Gold star for me.
I already...
Okay, are you ready? Are you ready to say goodbye?
Oh, no, homework. So homework for next week is
Oh,
to
no!
get...
Oh,
The homework for next week is to get
Yes.
Supabase authentication working.
Yeah.
Woo!
I'm writing it down.
No.
Now you can go, Ulla.
Okay, start. There have been another unauthorized and rum-fueled treasure hunt in the sharky waters around the Gatsby Islands with Queen Ray, Mirjam Albacho, conference buddy, and Lillian and me. Today's guest was the great and powerful pirate Swizec Teller.
That was fun. Yay.
Okay, are you ready to wave? Will you push the button, Benedicte?
Okay, everyone
Queen
wave
wave.
awkwardly.
En gang.
Bye!